Hey, what's up everybody? I'm trying to do a series of videos on this channel where I actually vlog a little bit. Just trying to do something different. Right now I'm way too tired to do sketches in my daily routine. I don't plan on ending doing sketches and short films or anything like that, but just for something different, I want to do kind of like a vlog series. I actually will have a theme called Douchebag Chronicles, and basically it's going to be me talking about individuals or groups of people that have wronged me in my life, who are complete douchebags, just made my life a little worse. And I'm just gonna tell these stories as a set, maybe like 4 or 5 videos, maybe even more. See if anyone likes them, and if you do, I'll definitely make more. So I'm gonna start out with my first experience with douchebags. It's a local band that I supported. And in order to tell the story, I have to go way back to 2009, late 2009, possibly early 2010. I think it was 2009 where I first discovered this band. 2009, I lived in my own apartment by myself. My girlfriend at the time, was in school finishing her master's degree. So I was alone most of the time, really bored. I lived a couple towns over from where my girlfriend lived, and it was northern New York, so that was quite a drive. So I only saw her a few times a week, maybe. But I was just completely bored. I had no internet, no cable. I had a lousy antenna that picked up some Canadian TV stations every once in a while. I had books to read, and I didn't have money to do anything. All my money went towards my rent. Barely just had enough to gas my car, get some groceries, and pay rent. That was it. That was my whole life for probably about 6 to 7 months until my girlfriend actually moved in and we could share some responsibilities. But at the time, I was so bored. There was nothing to do. So one day I was at the library on the internet. That was the only time I could use the internet, was if I went to the local library. And I was just looking up some local bands to see, because where I lived in New York, there was just nothing to do. There was a few restaurants that were half decent, and the bars were all full of scumbags. No matter where you went, either the college bars or the hick bars, that's all you had a choice in going to, so they were both pretty bad. So we were just completely bored, and I was also really poor, so we couldn't really drive anywhere or have a good time somewhere else. We had to find some fun in that area. So I was looking up local bands, and I saw the only real band around there that actually played their own songs instead of just cover songs was a band called Doc Rhythm. And I actually liked what I heard. They kind of sounded like grunge, alternative, that kind of stuff. And I usually am not into that kind of music, but the guitar player was awesome. He could play some really good solos, stuff like that. So I heard them on, I think it was actually MySpace, and MySpace was still in its death throes back then. I mean, it was just about to die, but I could still check out bands on MySpace at the time. So I checked them out. I was like, hey, this band's pretty decent. And they were playing that week in some bar. So I was like, you know what? Let's go check them out. And me and my girlfriend went there. It was the middle of the winter. Really, really cold out. And then there was this bar in like this really small town called Norwood. It basically looked like an old western town where it had like stores right on the main road, like those little stores with those little buildings that you only see in like western movies. Then there was a little crappy road, and then there was a bar like a little ways away, and that's where we went to go see the band. And we went in there, and all we saw were hicks. It was just hicks. And I was like, are we even at the right place? Is there a band playing? And then we keep walking, and we go around the bar, and then there's a little space set up for a band to play. And they're just about starting to play. We hear them, and literally me, my girlfriend, and maybe one other person are the only people watching the band. Everyone else is in like the bar area where all the bar stools are and pool and stuff like that. They're kind of like around the corner, not even paying attention to the band, and just me and my girlfriend, and then maybe one of their other fans or relatives is watching. So we watched the show. I'm actually pretty impressed. The guy has a really good guitar skill. The bass player's competent. Drummer's pretty good. Nothing to complain about the band at all. But they noticed that we're like the only people actually watching the band, and you know, I clap when I hear a good song, and you know, I like the music, I'm gonna clap for the band and stuff like that. So they noticed we're the only people doing that. So he's like, hey, thanks for coming out, blah blah blah. And we're just like, alright, this is kind of a cool experience. I mean, I'll probably see this band some other time. We leave at probably like 11 o'clock. We stayed for like their first set and maybe some of their second set and just kind of booked it. I mean, this is important for later. They played one set, and then they played a second set of kind of like the same songs, maybe a few other ones intermixed, and then they played a third set of the same exact songs, just so they'll keep playing the same song while the bar is open, like playing the same music while the bar is open. But anyways, some time passes. We see them a couple other times at other bars in the area. Each time they're really impressed that we're there, and basically most of the time we're the only people watching them play. And I gotta emphasize, we're really bored at this time in our lives. There's just not a lot for entertainment where we were. So we were just kind of watching them and having a good time, having some beers and stuff. So this goes on for like a year and a half where we're watching their band, and then after a while we kind of get to know the band a little bit. They keep thanking us for coming out, and just building kind of a relationship with the band a little bit. At least I am. And we kind of laugh at it at first, but we noticed that the guitar player, singer, gets really drunk at the second set when he's playing with his band. He gets really drunk at that point, and then by the third set, the whole band is just completely wasted. They miss notes and stuff. They don't know what the hell they're doing. It's just kind of like a wreck by the third set. Usually we stayed for the first two sets, and then midnight or 11:30 or something, we just head out. And but anyways, I kind of put that aside. I didn't really care about it too much. And the whole time I didn't care for the guitar player too much. I thought he was a great guitar player. I just couldn't talk to the guy. The only person in the band I could talk to and who was cool was the bass player. He was just a normal person. Everyone else in the band, the drummer and the guitar player, they're kind of like off in space. They're like in La La Land. But anyways, I'm still getting along with them. So there comes a point where like they wanted to make a music video for one of their songs, and they know that I dabble in editing at the time. Like at the time, I was only making movie reviews on my original channel, Filling the Void Review, which eventually got deleted from YouTube. But that was 2009, 2010. I was making movie reviews, and I knew how to edit and stuff like that, and they figured out that I knew how to do that kind of stuff. So they asked if I could make a music video for them using one of their cameras, because my camera was like a piece of crap back then. So at this point, it's like the summer, and they're playing a bar that is not going to be crowded, so there's going to be plenty of space for me to shoot and stuff like that. And what happens is I have them play a song on their first set, and I film it from one angle. Then I have them play the same song on their second set later on in the night from a different angle. And then when I make the video, I cut it together and I have the different camera angles going, use some other effects, make it cool looking. And I did that with 2 of their songs. One of those I was just kind of like, I didn't really know what I was doing that much, but it came out okay. And then the second video really came out good, and I used to have it on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it came out really well, and I was impressed with it. And I thought that the band would be impressed with it, but they kind of just took it for granted, except for the bass player who said it was awesome. But the guitar player and drummer, I noticed at this point they're kind of conceited. They're kind of in love with themselves. They think they're awesome. They just don't care about other people's efforts to promote their band, anything like that. So, you know, I get kind of like a mumbled thank you for the first 2 videos. And I gotta admit, like, when you're recording somebody and you have to sync the music up, and they're playing live, so the syncing isn't gonna be perfect, and you have to like mess with the video speed and stuff like that, that is fucking hard. I don't care who you are. I mean, modern editing equipment, like right now, easily could do that with Sony Vegas. I didn't have Sony Vegas. I had VideoPad, which was a free program. So it was actually really hard to do all that, and it still came out where you see the music synced up with the video, even though it's recorded music, and the video is from like live music. But anyways, I got like a mumbled thank you for that, and kind of pissed me off. But anyways, they are playing some more shows that summer. I think this was the summer of 2010. So this was like June 2010 where I recorded them. And then by around August, I saw them play a couple more times, and we just noticed like they're getting a little pathetic. By the time their third set rolls around, they're just a complete mess. They can't even sing into the microphone. The guy is like breaking his guitar strings because he's just like completely out of it. The drummer's just, I cannot, first of all, when the guy's sober, I can't understand most of what he's saying. He talked really fast, like, and when he's drunk, I just cannot deal with the guy at all. He's like obnoxious. I can't understand a word he's saying. So anyways, I'm kind of distancing myself a little from the band at this point. And at this point, I'm focusing more on my channel, trying to make sketches and stuff like that. And that's another thing, like, I made the 2 music videos to them, and I'm kind of friendly to them. I show them my YouTube channel. I'm like, hey, check out my sketches and stuff like that. And the guy responds on Facebook, hey, that's great, are you coming to our show? Like, just like that. Sometimes I get like a fake comment from people trying to spam my page, so that'll be like, oh, wow, great video, you should watch my video. So that really kind of pissed me off, like, especially since I've been me and my girlfriend had been the sole supporters of his band for probably about almost a year at this point. So it just pissed me off. So I'm kind of drifting away from this band. We see him every now and then. I had moved to a different town, doing a little better economically. Didn't have to worry as much. But there comes a point where they're playing a show. We have nothing to do. My girlfriend at the time's brother comes up from Georgia. Her sister's in town. Or her sister has nothing to do. She used to live on campus near the local college. But she's at the house or whatever. We all have nothing to do. We all figure we're gonna go out and see this band play a couple towns over. and we figure we're all gonna get pretty wasted and have a good time, and have, you know, just have a decent night out and see the band. And I was like excited to show my brother-in-law, well, my girlfriend's brother at the time, this band. I was excited to just show my girlfriend's sister this band, just because we had spent so much time just watching this band, and I was like, you know, they have their faults, but pretty good guitar player, competent band, and they know how to play and stuff like that. So I figure we'll go out there, have a good time. We show up there, and so far they're playing their first set, and actually they play all their original songs, and then they have a Smashing Pumpkins song that they covered, and my girlfriend and her brother really like that song, so it's going off really well. I even started recording some of their live stuff just to have to watch later on, because I was still a pretty big fan of this band. Then me and my brother-in-law go out to my car, and it's illegal to take a beer outside of a bar in New York, so we just have beers in my girlfriend's Jeep that we had brought from like the fridge at our house, and we were like really cheap back then, so we're just drinking those beers, like talking about stuff and having a good time. And you know, we both drank a lot of beers, but my brother-in-law had eaten this like huge giant club sandwich from a restaurant and fries before we had gone out, and you know, he had eaten a giant meal, and then we were drinking like 6 beers. We knew we weren't going to drive home, so we were just doing that. And so at this point, we're pretty wasted. We come back in, the band is playing again, and they're just sounding sloppy. They're pretty much wasted at this point. They sound really sloppy, and then later on, they are done playing, and I look over, and the guitar player is hitting on my girlfriend's sister, and like, he's not just like flirting with her, he's trying to like aggressively hit on her. And she had a boyfriend at the time, and she's just not interested at all. Also, the guitar player of this band was married with 3 kids. So, you know, it's kind of fucked up, but I'm trying to ignore it. Trying to just have a good time with my girlfriend and her brother. Then, at pretty much the same exact time as all this stuff's going on, my brother-in-law just runs to the bathroom, and I peek my head in, and he's just hurling really bad into the toilet in the bathroom. Like, ridiculously. It's almost like he had food poisoning. That's how bad it was. And something in that club sandwich either made him go off, or maybe the combination of alcohol, but he was just completely sick. So he's hurling into the bathroom. I come back out. Every member of the band is drunk as hell. The guitar player is just, he's constantly at my girlfriend's sister's side, just trying to hit on her, like, not even like cleverly, just like, I heard later on that he had said to my girlfriend's sister, "We're gonna have sex later. We're gonna have sex later." And at that point, she was pretty much ready to go, and my girlfriend was the designated driver. So basically, we were just standing there, and we're waiting for my wife's brother to finish throwing up just so we could leave. And at this point, the bar is almost ready to close, and the guitar player comes up to us, and he's almost like yelling at us. He's like, "This place is gonna close in a little while. It's gonna close in like 15 minutes. We need to get a 30-pack for the after party," which, by the way, I wasn't invited to the whole time we were watching this band play. They used to have little after parties. I was never invited to them until my girlfriend's sister showed up, and he wanted to like get with her or something like that. So then all of a sudden we were all invited to the after party. So he comes up to us, he's like, we need to get a 30-pack now! We need to get a 30-pack, this place is gonna close, and the convenience store across the street is gonna close. So we need to get a 30-pack now. So he basically orders me and my girlfriend to drive over to the convenience store with another guy and get a 30-pack. And at this point, I'm just so fucking pissed off that, I mean, I can't believe I spent this much effort, like, making music videos for this band, following them around, not being, like, I mean, I wasn't really going on my way to, like, go on tour with them or anything, but I was showing them a lot of support over that whole year and a half, and this is the thanks I get. They're just, the guy's like a drunk mess. But anyways, we get the 30-pack, come back, and thankfully, my wife's brother's out of the bathroom, and we're all set to go. And as we're leaving the bar, he goes like this, he stumbles, and then he just starts puking again. And then the guy from the band at this point is like, why are you going to the after party? Why are you going to the after party? He's like, he's throwing up, we're just gonna drive him home. And the guy just couldn't understand why we weren't just abandoning my brother-in-law at the bar or something like that. So we're like, at this point we're like, fuck this guy. So we just kind of like wave goodbye, like, bye. My girlfriend's the designated driver. We're driving home. Her brother's in the back seat with a garbage bag just in case he has to throw up. Also, there's a garbage bag full of empty beer bottles because we had been drinking in the car. Really, really bad idea. So, thankfully those are covered, you can't see them at all. So my girlfriend starts driving down the road. She must have been driving about a quarter of a mile and a cop just comes. Pulls us over, must have seen us coming from the bar or something like that. And at this point it's like 2 a.m. So he just figures we're drunks. He comes over, he flashes his light. First thing he flashes his light on is my drunk brother-in-law in the back seat, who's still kind of like has barf all over his face. He shines the light on that, and he's like, what the hell? Shines it on my girlfriend. She's completely sober. She had probably one alcoholic drink the whole night. That was hours ahead of time. So he's like, yeah, why don't you step out of the car? And this is basically New York State for anyone who doesn't live there. Cops just have the authority to just do anything they want. She showed no signs of being drunk, at all, or anything like that. So immediately she just has to get out of the car for some reason. So she does, and the guy asks what's going on, where we're coming from, and she's like, "Oh, I'm the designated driver." Immediately the cop just doesn't believe her, has her do the alphabet backwards, and thankfully my girlfriend knows how to do that and stuff like that, because if I had been put on pressure like that, I probably would have just failed, and they would have said I was drunk even if I wasn't. But anyways, she passes that, and the guy's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't drunk driving and stuff like that, you understand, blah blah blah. And it's like, alright, fine. So, you know, we finally drive home, and that was the last time I saw that band. And after that, the guitar player just acted like none of that happened with the sister. He acted like he had not been an asshole that night. I don't know, he was so drunk, maybe he got blackout drunk. I won't be surprised. But the guy was just a drunk mess. He's just a complete loser. He played with his band. He cheated on his wife. He had kids, for God's sake, and you know, he was going through like a early midlife crisis. The guy was probably in his late 30s, but he was going through a midlife crisis, and somehow I had been dragged into a part of that unwillingly. So I'm gonna end that douchebag chronicle for today. I should have some more videos. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, give a thumbs up, leave a comment. Maybe you've had similar experiences with this type of thing. Let me know in the comments, and have a good day. Thank you.